The Queen was part of British culture, the cornerstone really of British culture for 70 years. Her legacy seems almost inimitable.
Yes, it is. Obviously, just for the years themselves, it's quite extraordinary that she was still working well into her 96 years. But also because of how she behaved. I mean, she was unique in her giving the most tremendous amount of duty to the people, both in the British and also in the both for the British and for the Commonwealth. And you never actually really got to know her, but you knew she had a very good sense of humour and was actually a delightful sort of person who had the most amazing knowledge. You asked her anything about a horse, could be 20, 30 years ago, and she would know everything about it. So the things she featured on, she was absolutely excellent.
And look, we're coming up to a year of the Queen's passing and 100 days or so since the coronation. How do you think the other members of the royal family are going in relation to living out the Queen's legacy?
I think they're doing it enormously, actually. I think that they're based their way of behaving on her. The only thing I think has really changed is that they're going to be more accessible. The Queen, spotless as she wasn't comfortable chit-chatting. But I have seen just after her death and also the funeral that King Charles and Queen Camilla wanted to talk to people about it. They went all around the country. They talked to people throbbing round Buckingham Palace. And I think that's want to be more accessible. But as for the moral side, as for the activity side, as for the devotion side, I think nothing has changed. And what is, I think, wonderful is that people have given them enormous praise for doing that and clapping, and wherever they go there's loads of people there, and they're all cheering, and you get occasional sort of 5 or 6 people saying, we don't want the king, but actually they're beaten by hundreds if not thousands of people who are very happy that they haven't moved on too far.
And who do you think, when you look at those members of the royal family, those senior working royals, who do you think has been the star performer, in your view, in picking up the cudgels where the Queen left off?
Well, I don't think there's just one person. I think there's 3 and a half. I think that King Charles has actually been very thoughtful about it. He hasn't sort of changed very much from what his mother did. He still talks about how much he admires her if he's in a venue or doing an engagement. I think that's very important. And Prince William and Catherine have both been very calm. They haven't changed anything really important, and they behave just as the Queen would love them to do that. And the half, not a derogatory half, is Camilla, who is there always for King Charles and supports him totally. And he's very grateful for that because he's become a much more relaxed man. He's enjoying himself more. One of their last engagements was going to Sandringham, where there was a big flower show. And Camilla was wandering around and she saw something which looked like, it was a pie, but it was done with ears and a crown. And she burst out laughing and she rushed over to take the king, said, "You must see this, come with me." And they went there and he looked at it and they were both roaring with laughter. I don't think the Queen would do anything like that, but it was a wonderful sign that 2, he was so relaxed that he could do that, but 3, their relationship, the pie had big ears and he just roared. He didn't get cross, he didn't get angry. You could see the funny side of it. And I thought, well, that link between them actually really helps them move forward.
And I suppose, particularly over maybe the last 50 years or so, we've seen the way the royal family interacts as part of culture change. What do you think is the most important thing for the royal family to remain relevant going into the future?
Well, there's several things, I think. King Charles, I thought, was quite right that in his coronation, he made it for every religion. Before it was just Christian. And I think that that's very important. And I think more working together, if you have a faith, you're not just left out. I think that's very good. I think that it's important that you can be more accessible. You know, with social media, you want to know a lot about people. And I think that there needs to be a bit more telling you people about you, but not revealing too much, not revealing like Harry revealed all the dirty stories. And I think that sort of thing. And actually, I think what's also very important is that to take a really large charity, like, you know, mental health, and like children when they're born and how they're dealt with, and like domestic violence, and really try to make a huge impact with that. Because the Queen, and God bless her, she had 600 charities. You can't do much except cut a ribbon or sign a book or be on a piece of paper, you know. And I think that that doesn't work anymore in this world. That if you take things in the whole and really make big changes like that. And King Charles, the first thing I believe he's going to do is to deal with waste of food. And I thought to myself, you know, that's a brilliant idea. There is so much waste in so many different areas. When people are starving, or perhaps you can use it for something else, you know, grind it down, I don't know, fertilizer, who knows. But I think that that's a fascinating story that could be told. And people, everybody, whatever, you're rich or poor, you know, you would want to be part of that.
Angela Levin, as always, thank you. It's such a pleasure.